What's up, guys? My name is Noah and you are watching The Productive Producer. This video is for our day one producers. However, that doesn't mean if you're experienced you won't get anything out of this video. We'll be going over the fundamentals in Ableton Live Lite, so the free version. We're gonna go over drum placement, layering, chords and chord progressions, and we're gonna touch on mixing a little bit as well. The goal of today's video is to make the day one producers feel a little less overwhelmed and to help the more experienced producers brush up on their fundamentals. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so this is Ableton Live Lite. Now, I have already selected the instruments we'll be using, one to save time, and also I was finding that all of my Ableton drum packs and presets from Suite were ported over to Lite, so every time I would click on a sound, it would say, hey, you can't load this sound because it's only for Ableton Live Suite. So we are going with this to start out. And remember, this is for the day one guys. I just want to help you get started. If you don't know what to do, if you're looking at this, you're like, I have no idea what any of this means. What is a MIDI? This is what we're going to talk about that right now. So I have 4 MIDI tracks. That's what we're going to be using today. And in order to create a new MIDI track, you could do it several ways, but you guys know me, I like the key commands. So Shift Command T or Shift Control T if you're on a PC will create a new MIDI track. So I got 4 of them right here. So we're gonna start by getting some drums in here. We just have a standard 808 kick, or 808 kit, rather. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna just start with a 4-bar loop. And if you don't know what a bar is, that's every single, well, it's what we use to measure length in music. So there are 4 bars in a beat, and you'd be like, Noah, that's going to bar 5. Well, we aren't counting that one because going through to bar 5 would count it right there. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see the bar count right up here. And if we zoom in further, which by the way, if you're on a Mac, you could just hold Command and scroll. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that whole section, and then I'm going to press Command L. Going forward, I'm just going to be using the Mac commands. Refer to your Ableton manual for the direct conversions between PC and Mac commands, but we're just going to be going through Mac commands here. Okay, so we've got this looped, and what that essentially means is when it gets to the end here, it's just gonna cycle right back and start playing again. And that's what we want when we're building a song. So I'm gonna start with the drums here. I'm gonna highlight that whole section again, and I'm gonna press Shift Command M. And what that's going to do is it's going to insert a MIDI clip. So you can see we have all of our drums right here. And I'm gonna come up here and select our tempo. I'm gonna switch our tempo to, let's say, 145. Okay, and we can click over here on our metronome, and that's how fast our song is. That's what the tempo is. I'm gonna keep it simple for right now. We're just gonna put the snares in on the 3. And here's a cool trick too. If you wanted to hear what these sounded like when you put them in, you just click this little headphone thing right here, and that will allow you to hear the samples as you put them in. We're gonna put them on the 3 each time, and we'll start with the 1 kick. I'm gonna put another one there. No, we'll put it right here. Okay, that's pretty easy. So let's put in a closed hi-hat. We're gonna go with the hi-hat closed. And so now, like, I don't want to keep clicking here all the way through to the end. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to highlight that whole section. And I don't want to highlight just these notes. I want to make sure I want to highlight the whole section, including the space with those notes as well. And then I can press Command D to duplicate all the way across, just like that. So we can come over here to the drums. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten this kick here. And what I'm going to do that just by pulling that release down. Yeah. And I want to turn the pitch of the snare up a little bit. So what I could do right here, I'm just going to click on that snare, and then I'm just going to go to the transp. It says transp, but we're looking for transpose. We're just going to bump that up a few semitones. And then for the hi-hats, I'm just going to turn the volume down a little bit. Just like that. Okay, so I'd say we could get fancy, but we got other things to do in this track right now. So what we're going to do next is we're going to make another MIDI clip. Remember the key command, Shift Command M. And we are going to start by making a chord. So you might ask, how did I know where to put those notes? Well, there's 3 basic components to a chord. There's the root, the third, and the fifth. And the root and the fifth together would just be a power chord. It would sound like this. Which doesn't sound bad, but when we add the third, it starts to give it a little character. Here's a couple of shortcuts you could take. You can come over here to the MIDI effects, go to scale, and then go to C minor, because we're writing in D minor right now, and just shift the bass up to D. Right there. So now, whatever notes you put in there, they will be in the key of D minor. So we're just going to make our chords doing it that way from here on out. Okay, so we have our chord progression. Now, these are not the right notes. If we took the scale guard off, it would probably going to sound bad. Yikes. But we have the scale guard on, so it sounds nice. Okay, so then what we can do is we can come over here, we'll take our chords, and we will delete all the notes except for the root notes of what we were originally making. And we're just going to shift it down. We'll put it right on each kick. And there are other advanced techniques that we could try to do, but for this video, we're just going to keep it real simple. Let's hear how it sounds now. So now you could sort of hear a little bit of crackling there, and that means that the signal is clipping a little bit. So what we need to do, so I could click one, hold shift, click the top one, and now I can control all of them. And right here is just my volume knobs, and I'm just gonna bring that down a little bit. And we can make this sound a little bit cooler too. We can go grab some reverb. Make it sound way in the background. We'll turn the dry wet up, which means it's just a way of making the reverb fully affect the signal rather than just partially, right? We're turning it up to 100%. And then we could adjust the decay time here and then turn on our input processing where we're cutting out the low end and we're cutting out the high end and just sort of mess around with that and get it to where you want. Sounds pretty cool. Okay. So now, actually, let's move this down a little bit more. I think it might be a better idea to get some of those low ends or those lows in there. Okay, cool. So now we have another sample right here, or another sound. It sounds like this. Okay, so writing in D minor again, let's throw on that scale guard again. Right up there to D minor. Let's color code this because we want to be organized. Okay, so we could do the same thing here with the reverb. We could just wash it out. which I kind of like. I kind of like that sound. Okay, so right there, what I just did, I clicked in here, I pressed Command A, and that will select all of the notes. And then what I could do here is hold Shift and press up on the arrow keys, and that will shift them all up 1 octave, which is super, super helpful. Because now we have them up in the upper registry, which might sound nice with what we've got going on here. Now it's a little tinny. Okay, so we can make further adjustments here, but what I want to do now is sort of prioritize and balance a little bit, because everything's pretty much at the same level here. So first thing I want to do is I want to bump up that kick a little bit, and I'm just going to use the volume knobs. And guys, focus on adjusting volume before doing anything else to fix your mix. That's going to fix your mix 9 times out of 10. Then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to probably take an EQ. We have the EQ3, which isn't great. If you have the means to upgrade to Ableton 10, I would highly suggest doing so because the EQ8 is much better, but maybe you have a third-party EQ that you could use. And we're just going to reduce those highs in the chords here. Also, normally I wouldn't have the bass going through the entire track. In this case, it seems like it works a little bit to our advantage because we don't have a lot going on here. So we want to fill in that space. I usually like to add some distortion here, which we could do with some noise. And let's work on this guy here. Okay, so I think we have good guts here on this beat, and I think we'll do one last little thing here. We're gonna come in, we're gonna grab a crash. Where's that? Yeah. I'm going to put that right there at the beginning. And what I can do, I can turn this down by adjusting the velocity within the MIDI clip here. And what I just do is I just hold Command and I just click and drag down. Just like that. And we'll put that right there at the beginning of the loop. All right, so I said we weren't going to go too crazy into hi-hat patterns, but you guys probably want to learn some cool hi-hat patterns. Cool trick I like to do is throw them in. I mean, it's not really a trick, but putting really fast 32-note hi-hats right there. Kind of like sort of whipping right into the snare. And we could just copy that. Remember how we did it before? We just highlight the whole space, Command D. And let's throw in the open hat. So there's something we could do too, is like if the notes are getting in the way, like sometimes the notes will sort of clash with each other, we can, instead of deleting the note, we could just press 0 and deactivate it. So it'll still be there for us to reactivate later, but in our case, we don't need it, so we're just going to delete it. I like it. I think that's a wrap for today. If you guys like this video, remember, click like on the video. That's the key to success, guys. And also, my free finishing music checklist is available for download if you're having trouble finishing your music. Go in, download that thing, tell me if you like it, tell me if you didn't like it. If you didn't like it, I'll change it. I want to make stuff for you guys that you guys like. Anyways, we'll see you guys next Friday with another video. Peace.